Imagine this. You're a soldier, born common, no royal blood, just ambition and the smell of gunpowder. You fight alongside the greatest military genius your age has ever seen. You rise, you conquer, and then you betray him. Not just betray, but command armies against him. And for your ultimate reward, a crown, a kingdom, your own royal dynasty. This isn't a fantasy. This is the unbelievable true story of Jean Bernadotte, the French general who became a king, while the emperor who made him lost everything. Get ready, because this is a saga of ambition, loyalty, and the ultimate twist of fate. Our story begins not on a battlefield, but in the sleepy Pyrenean town of Pau, France, in 1763. Young Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte wasn't born into privilege. His father was a lawyer, a man of letters, but their family fortune was modest. France at the time was still a monarchy riddled with inequality. A commoner dreaming of glory? Almost impossible. But then, the storm broke, the French Revolution. This wasn't just a political upheaval, it was a societal earthquake that shattered old hierarchies. Suddenly, merit, not birth, could propel a man to power. And Bernadotte, he was ready. At 17, he enlisted in the Royal Marine Regiment. No fancy officer school for him. He started as a simple private. But Bernadotte was no ordinary private. He was intelligent, fiercely brave, and possessed a natural charisma that inspired his men. He devoured military manuals, learned tactics, and by 1794, barely a decade after enlisting, he was a brigadier general. The revolution, for all its chaos and bloodshed, had opened the gates of opportunity. He was a general at 31. This was the era of meteoric rises, and none would be more astonishing than his. While Bernadotte was making a name for himself in the Rhine armies, another young, ambitious Corsican was tearing through Italy, Napoleon Bonaparte. Their paths were destined to cross, and when they did, sparks flew, not always in a good way. Bernadotte was a Republican at heart, a man of the revolution. Napoleon, while initially a revolutionary general, harbored grander, more imperial ambitions. They were both brilliant, both fiercely proud, and both recognized a formidable rival in the other. There was a grudging respect, yes, but also a deep-seated rivalry, a clash of colossal egos. Napoleon knew Bernadotte was a superb commander, but he also saw a potential threat. Despite the tension, Napoleon needed men of talent. Bernadotte served with distinction in various campaigns, proving his tactical acumen and courage repeatedly. He commanded corps in crucial battles, sometimes brilliantly, sometimes cautiously, always with an eye on his own strategic positioning. When Napoleon seized power in the coup of 18 Brumaire, Bernadotte, ever the staunch Republican, was initially hesitant. He was even considered a potential rival or a general who might oppose the coup. But Napoleon, ever the pragmatist, knew how to win over or neutralize his opponents. He offered Bernadotte prestigious commands, eventually making him one of his marshals of the Empire in 1804. It was the highest martial honor, putting Bernadotte among Napoleon's elite circle. A commoner, now a marshal, standing shoulder to shoulder with an emperor who was once just another general. Bernadotte had everything a soldier could dream of: fame, power, wealth, and the adoration of his troops. But he was always apart. He never quite fit into Napoleon's inner circle, often chafing under direct orders, always maintaining a certain independence of mind. This subtle detachment, this underlying ambition, would soon lead him down an utterly extraordinary path. Europe in the early 19th century was a chessboard dominated by Napoleon. Kingdoms rose and fell at his whim. But far to the north, a relatively stable kingdom, Sweden, faced a unique crisis. Its reigning king, Charles XIII, was old and childless. His chosen heir, a Danish prince, had suddenly died. The future of the Swedish monarchy hung in the balance. The Swedes needed an heir, and they needed one who could navigate the treacherous waters of Napoleonic Europe. They wanted someone with military prowess, a strong leader, but crucially, someone who could secure their independence, perhaps even from Napoleon himself. Unbelievably, their eyes fell on Jean Bernadotte. Why him? Well, he had a reputation for treating Swedish prisoners of war with unusual kindness during a campaign in Lubeck. His wife Desiree, Clary, was also Napoleon's former fiancée's sister and had connections to French banking families that the Swedes hoped to leverage for loans. And perhaps most importantly, he was seen as a general who, while successful, wasn't completely subservient to Napoleon, a subtle point that held immense appeal for a kingdom desperate for autonomy. In 1810, a Swedish envoy approached Bernadotte with an astonishing offer. Would he accept the position of Crown Prince of Sweden? A general, born of common stock in the emperor's service, being offered a crown by a foreign power. It was unprecedented. Bernadotte accepted. Napoleon, surprisingly, gave his consent, though likely with a mix of relief to have a sometimes difficult subordinate far away and strategic calculation to have a supposedly loyal ally on a northern throne. He probably never imagined the true implications of this decision. Bernadotte packed his bags, severed his ties to the French army, adopted the name Charles John, and set sail for Sweden. He had stolen a kingdom, not by force, but by invitation, a testament to his unique blend of military skill, political shrewdness, and sheer luck. The stage was now set for the ultimate betrayal. Arriving in Sweden, Bernadotte wasn't just a French general anymore. He was the crown prince, Charles John. He quickly learned Swedish, adapted to the customs, and crucially, understood the needs and fears of his new people. Sweden had recently lost Finland to Russia and was caught between the hammer of Imperial Russia and the anvil of Napoleonic France. Their overriding goal was survival and preserving their independence. Napoleon, still viewing Bernadotte as an ally, expected Sweden to fall in line with his continental system, a massive blockade designed to cripple Britain. This meant closing Swedish ports to British trade, a move that would devastate Sweden's economy. This was the moment of truth. He faced an impossible choice: loyalty to the man who elevated him or loyalty to the kingdom he was now sworn to protect. His answer was clear. His loyalty was now to Sweden. He stalled, he equivocated, and eventually he openly defied Napoleon's demands. This was an audacious defiance, a direct challenge to the most powerful man in Europe. Napoleon, accustomed to absolute obedience, was furious. In 1812, he retaliated, occupying Swedish Pomerania with French troops. This act of aggression sealed Bernadotte's decision. The former marshal would not just passively resist, he would actively oppose his former emperor. The ultimate betrayal was no longer just a possibility, it was an inevitability. As Napoleon embarked on his disastrous Russian campaign in 1812, the wheels of a grand European coalition began to turn. And who better to lead the Allied army of the North, a force composed of Swedes, Prussians, and Russians, than a seasoned French marshal who knew Napoleon's tactics inside out? Yes, Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte, Crown Prince Charles John of Sweden, became the commander of a significant army fighting against France. This was an unimaginable twist of fate. A man who owed so much of his rise to Napoleon now stood poised to be his undoing. Bernadotte played a crucial role, not just militarily, but diplomatically, leveraging his French insights to advise the Allies on how to counter Napoleon's unique style of warfare. In 1813, the epic Battle of Leipzig, also known as the Battle of the Nations, saw Napoleon facing the combined might of Europe. Bernadotte's Army of the North was a key component of the Allied forces. Imagine the moral and psychological complexity. A French general leading non-French troops in a battle against his countrymen under the command of the emperor who once led him. It was a battlefield where personal history and the fate of Europe collided. Bernadotte distinguished himself, securing vital victories that pushed Napoleon back. His strategic contributions were undeniable, playing a direct role in the weakening of the French Empire. He didn't just betray Napoleon, he actively worked to dismantle his former master's power, carving out a new path for his adopted homeland. This wasn't just about survival anymore, it was about asserting a new European order. With Napoleon finally defeated in 1814, and then again at Waterloo in 1815, the Congress of Vienna redrew the map of Europe. Bernadotte, the French king,
had secured not just Sweden's independence, but also gained Norway, which entered into a personal union with Sweden under his rule. In 1818, upon the death of King Charles XIII, Jean Bernadotte officially ascended to the throne as King Charles XIV John of Sweden and Norway. The common-born French soldier had completed his incredible journey, becoming a legitimate European monarch. He didn't steal the kingdom in the traditional sense, but his sheer audacity, his strategic maneuvering, and his willingness to defy his former emperor allowed him to seize an opportunity that no one could have predicted. He ruled for 26 years, from 1818 to 1844, a period of peace and prosperity for Sweden. He proved to be a capable and beloved ruler, focused on economic development and neutrality. And here's the kicker. His lineage continues to this day. The current king of Sweden, Carl XVI Gustaf, is a direct descendant of Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte. The dynasty of the former French marshal still reigns. So, what do we make of Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte? A traitor? A visionary? A pragmatist driven by ambition and a keen sense of self-preservation? Perhaps all of the above. He was a man who understood the shifting sands of power, who knew when to align and when to diverge. He wasn't the most loyal to Napoleon, but he was fiercely loyal to his own destiny and ultimately to the kingdom that chose him. His story is a powerful reminder that history is often written not just by emperors and kings, but by individuals who dare to defy expectations, who play the long game, and who, against all odds, manage to claim their own impossible crown. The soldier who betrayed Napoleon and stole a kingdom. An unforgettable saga.